Have you ever been a flight attendant where the fabrics, the menu, or even the voice from the flight announcement, they're all working together to create a unique experience? Probably not, but that would happen in 1970 when the airplane from the Singapore airline decided to offer to their flight attendant a unique experience where any senses, such as in this case the taste of its menu and the smell of its fabrics and the voice, the warm voice of the flight announcement, bring back some warm memories about Singapore and the airline. That was one of the most incredible experiences of persuasion in terms of advertising. And when we think about persuasion advertising, we can even introduce something just like the synesthesia. Synesthesia, it's a whole Greek term, but it's given by combining the term syn, that is union, and aesthesis, that is sensation. That is a very unique term. It's a very unique concept where I've taken mostly inspiration so far, especially after heavy work on a very wide range of projects, and that's why I decided to introduce myself by appealing to this concept. I am Giovanni Ferretti, and I'm an advertising graphic design student at Humber College looking to graduate next month. I'm looking to apply for an internship as an art director, and the reason why I've decided to apply to this program specifically is because after having realized that media communication wasn't ready for me, was really that sort of program that I was looking for when I applied in 2017, I decided to switch my creativity into something completely, mostly related to media communication, but completely different from that. And the main reason why I decided to apply was to think about advertising with trying to ask this question: could advertising change people's minds? Could advertising have a positive impact into people's mind? That was one of the reasons why I decided to apply to advertising graphic design, apart from all the other secondary reasons, such as the innate love for creating projects and to working on a different project with other people in a collaboratively manner. But apart from that, I'm going to even talk about my portfolio pieces. So I'm going to introduce you to my portfolio pieces. My first portfolio piece that I'm going to show you just in a moment. It's a very simple portfolio piece. It's a very simple and efficient and powerful portfolio piece that I worked on. So practically last week. It was the campaign. I decided to work on this specific campaign first of all because I really love the Baci Perugino's brand. It's an Italian brand that I always loved, so practically since I was 6 or 7 years old, and it really bring me back memories from my Italian origins. That was one of the reasons why I decided to work on this specific campaign. And we were asked to redesign an Instagram takeover of the Instagram post and the Instagram stories of this brand. The main idea behind that was to just think about the brand in a completely different perspective. And I really struggled to making sure that each specific budget shape was practically the same into the real one, and that was one of the challenges. But apart from that, even time management was another challenge because I work on this project practically during the pandemic outbreak that we're living right now, and I had like 3 days to work on it, so it was quite difficult for me just to like focus on this project. But I personally do believe that the outcome was outstanding, and I had even the opportunity just to really empower myself to work on something that it's so touching and it's so personal to me. So the really one of the main skills that I had to work on, apart from looking back to the creative process and looking back to the creative execution itself, especially with Instagram stories, was to really think about how can people look at this post, how can people and the viewers can actually be inspired by these Instagram stories and Instagram posts. And the main idea was to ask a genuine and kind question, very genuine question: what was your first kiss? So that was the idea behind this concept. And as you can see in my Instagram post, I've decided just to use three different locations, some of the main important locations of Italy, and just like the Colosseum, and we have even Venice and the Cinque Terre. So these are some of the main locations in terms of tourism. But that was just one of the main shift in terms of the creative. And but what I'm looking for to briefly introduce to my short story, it's the Instagram stories. In the Instagram stories, as I introduced you before, the idea was to look at how people could actually remember their original memory about their kiss. Okay, so that was the idea. That was the main idea, and because people tend to maybe remember their first kiss, but for many happened even before. For many people, maybe happened before the real official, the real loving gesture. Maybe even just giving back a badge of Regina, for example. And that was one of the biggest challenges that I have to face, asking even my friends in order to know if they still remember when that first kiss happened, maybe, and if that happened. And for many people, that relationships, the relationships within each other, and in a loving story, it's all part of this unique moment where you have for the first time, maybe in your life, the opportunity to remember when that moment happened. And using the hashtag your first bachelor, I decided to promote the brand in a completely different way, and it was one of the major shifts in terms of the creative brief. Additionally, I would say that I've taken inspiration from my landlord, who gave us as tenants Veggie Virginia Christmas box, and it was one of the inspiring moment that I still remember, and that really helped me to work on this campaign in a completely different way from what I've thought at the beginning. So before what happened with the pandemic outbreak. And additionally, I would stress out that in terms of skills, in relation to the skills, in relation to the outcome in general, I mean, it's very important to work on the outcome. I know that as I'm designing right now, I've learned to really be aware of the outcome, be aware that the outcome really needs to be as much as perfect. But what really matters at the end of the day is the process. The process is what really suggested me how to become a different version of myself. Because the outcome, throughout the process, you have the opportunity to learn from your own mistakes. You have the opportunity to learn from your own even perspective about things and about design in general. So that was one of the skills that I had the chance to look at. And specifically, if we think about passions, if we think about determination, if we think about generally even the kind of genuine love that I had stressed working on this project, because even just remembering when I was a little kid, writing down just some loving notes, just taking these loving notes from the wrapper from Veggie, opening up the Veggie chocolate, was it's just so memorable, just so unique, and that really helped me to work on this campaign. It was one of the loving memories that I will always share, even with my family, even with my mom. And I still remember that. I still have that kind of memory in my own soul and my own mind. The second portfolio piece, it's completely different. It's a very different portfolio piece. I work on this campaign, on this specific project, because I was looking for a branding opportunity, so a branding concept, and the challenge was to really think about the deliverables, just because we were asked to work on maybe a calendar, maybe a business card, but what really resonated about myself, it's the genuine love for music, so the genuine passion for music. And maybe as you can see, this portfolio base, it's practically different. It's like a compact this case that really resonated with myself and really had allowed me to share and to have a sort of relationship with my whole style, my whole design style. So in this compact disc, in this case, I decided to just put some portfolio works from my first year here at Amber, And comparing it with my real common and actual style, I had to really had the opportunity to compare these styles and to even relive that kind of memories, because this is what makes me proud of what I'm doing right now, what I'm working on right now, and what has shaped myself since the beginning, since the very first stage as a designer. And that was the challenge, that was the real challenge. And as you can see in this portfolio piece, I had just to put the compact disc in it, and it's just like a compact disc. But the funny story about this concept and about this campaign and this project, it's that I had to really struggle in order to print this piece out, because my printer didn't really realize that it printed this piece just double-sided. So I didn't have the chance at the end of the process to make sure that the actual design was as I imagined and as I was planning to have at the end of the process, at the end of this stage. And it was quite challenging. It was quite difficult for me just to make sure that I had the opportunity just to remake it. But I didn't want to remake it, so I just decided to leave it as it is right now. And I decided to call it Volume U just because it resonates with myself, it resonates with my own personality and my own perception about design in general. In this specific campaign, I had to be honest, one of the biggest challenge was to use the separation tool in Adobe Pro, and because I always struggle to make sure that the die line, because this is just a die line, as you can see, it's just a kind of die line. So the die line was printed using a different color, and that was one of the mistakes that I made at that time, and the printer was very sorry for that. I called him, but maybe I had to call him in advance in order to make sure that the piece was printed in a completely different way, and that was what I was expecting. But at the end of the day, as I even told you at the beginning, what really matters is the process, not just like come. And in this portfolio piece, I really learned that determination, passion, and specifically the opportunity to work on something where you feel like you really represent, your work really represent yourself. And although it's not perfect, although it's not edgy or maybe not that kind of perfect, and although I love to work on details, in this portfolio piece, I had the opportunity to just look at it and being grateful for what I worked on so far. And additionally, I would stress that I've taken inspiration from one of the Lorraine portrait. The compact disc project was from dedicated for a French brand, music French brand, and really inspired me to work on it. It was from promoting on Beyonce, and that was one of the creative chefs, because I didn't mind to create something just like that at the beginning, but then I changed my mind and I decided to work on a compact disc case rather than a calendar or a business card. Personally, I would even have that in relation to what skills most resonate with this project. I would say mostly the personality, mostly the personal core values, such as the simplicity that are even expressed profoundly into my first portfolio piece, the genuine love for what I do, the genuine dedication that I took and take of myself just since practically the beginning of every project. And I tend to have even a strong relationship with my team, like to build up like a strong relationship with my team. And I feel like my team is just like part of a family, and I tend to have that kind of relationship with them since practically the beginning, trying to be so on point with all these deliverables, all the steps, and that really helped me to work with others, very collaboratively and in a very consistent way. In conclusion, I would say that being a synesthete or being a designer, it's practically the same. I feel like any kind of design principles are just like music lyrics. They need to resonate in yourself. They need to resonate in customers, because I do believe that if you're not willing to turn an idea into something that people could actually look at and embracing themselves, it would never be a winning idea. And that's why passions, that's why determination are so important to myself. Like to have that sort of backup plan where you have the opportunity to look at your portfolio work and knowing that you still have to become better. You still have to keep working on it. And that really hits one of the reasons why I decided to apply to this program, because I wanted to learn. I wanted to really empower myself and work in something that I was proud of. And during these 5 years, I had this opportunity to express myself in a very creative way. And knowing that my style has evolved over the years, it's one of the most incredible things that have ever happened to me so far. And it would be a dream come true just having the opportunity to apply for and to become part of a placement and or an internship. So if you have any questions, I'm very grateful for your time. So thanks so much for your attention, and I'm looking to answer your questions right now.